So in this video, we are going to go back over how to graph a line. So let's talk about some key words for first. So first off, we have slope, and slope is just a ratio of the change between y values and the change of x values. So you may know it as y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So that is the slope formula. You may have also seen it as delta y over delta x. If you haven't, you will probably see it in higher level math, so you got your first look now. You've probably also heard the phrase rise over run, and it's, again, in other words, it's the vertical change over the horizontal change. So that is what slope is. It's a ratio between those changes of the vertical over the horizontal. Your y-intercept is the part of your equation that crosses the vertical axis, your y-axis, and it's also when x equals 0. So those are two common facts about your y-intercept. It crosses the vertical axis, your y-axis, and it is also when y equals 0. So slope-intercept form is the equation y equals mx plus b, where x and y are both variables in the equation. M is going to be your slope, and b is going to be your y-intercept. There's another format that you may see when graphing. It's called standard form. It's also called intercept form, and it is the equation ax plus by equals c. Again, x and y are going to be your variables, a and b are coefficients, and c is a constant. So a, b, and c are numbers where x and y are just variables. So let's learn or relearn how to graph a line. So we have some examples. So in the first example, I already have it in slope-intercept form. I have it as a y equals, and anytime it's in y equals, it is considered to be in slope-intercept form. So I need to take note of two things. I need to take note of the coefficient in front of my x, and I need to take note of my constant. So the coefficient in front of your x is your slope. So this is your m, so this is your slope. And this is your b, which is your y-intercept. So when you are graphing, the first point that you are going to plot is your y-intercept. So the point on the vertical axis, you are going to plot -3. So below the horizontal line are your negatives. So it goes -1, -2, -3. So I'm going to plot my first point here at -3. So your slope is telling you how the ratio between how much you go up and over each point. So I'm going to change this constant, this 2, into a fraction. So that would be 2 over 1. And then I'm going to look at each of these numbers individually. So the numerator is your change in your y direction. So it tells you whether you are going up or down. And your denominator tells you whether you're going left or right. Positive for up, positive for right, negative for down, and negative for left. So since this is a +2 and a +1, this is telling me I'm going to go up 2, and then I'm going to go, and since this 1 is positive, I'm going to go right 1. So I'm going to start from the point I drew. I'm then going to go up 2 spaces, so up 1, up 2, and then right 1, and then I can put my next point. And then from this point, again, I can go up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1, and I can now sketch my line. So I'm going to go and sketch a line. And that's it. That is you graphing a line. So the first step is to plot the y-intercept. So it's that constant. So that is where you are going to put it on the vertical axis, so your y-axis. So then you're going to look at your slope, and you're going to go from that point you just drew, so from that y-intercept, and you're going to go up or down or left or right some amount each time to find the next point, and then you can draw your line. So let's look at the second example. So this one is in standard form. You can see that I have x and y both on the left side of the equation. They both have coefficients, and I have a constant on the right side. So this is standard form. So there is a way to graph in standard form. We won't get into it on this lesson, but in the future. But for now, turn everything into slope-intercept form. And to turn things into slope-intercept form, all I have to do is solve for y. So I'm going to solve this thing for y to start with. So I'm going to come over here. We have 2x, we have 2x plus 3y equals 6. So I'm going to solve for y. So I have this positive 2x that's being added, so I need to get rid of it first. So I'm going to subtract 2x on both sides. So on the left side, that would cancel. On the right side, they're not like terms, so I can't actually add them together. So I just get 3y equals, I'm going to put the x first because that is what it looks like in the formula. So I have a negative 2x. This was a positive 6 to begin with, so plus 6. So the last thing I need to do is I need to get rid of this multiplication that's happening in front of the y. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3. So what I'm really going to do, instead of dividing both sides by 3, I'm going to divide every term on both sides by 3. So I'm going to divide this term by 3 and this term by 3. So that is me dividing both sides by 3. It's just a quicker way of getting to the format I want it to look like. So I'm going to divide each term by that 3. So on the left side, the 3's cancel, leaving me with just y. On the right side, I'm going to keep this fraction. I'm going to keep that fraction of negative 2 over 3x. And 6 divided by 3 is just 2. So I want to keep the fraction because the fraction is that ratio of the change of y's over the change of x's. So now that I have it in the format I want it, I can see that I have my slope and I can see that I have my y-intercept. So I'm going to start by marking my y-intercept, which is a positive 2. So I'm going to go up 2. So here's 1, here's 2. So here is my y-intercept of 2. So looking at my slope, we have negative 2 over 3. So I have a negative 2. So that's telling me, hey, I'm going to go down 2. And then the 3 is positive, so it's saying, hey, I'm going to go right 3. So from this point, I'm going to go down 2 and right 3. So down 2, right 3. So here is my next point. I can do it again. I can go down 2, right 3. Another way I could have looked at this is instead of having my negative in my numerator, I can actually flip my negative and have it in the denominator instead. So a 2 over negative 3. So what this one would tell me, it's saying, hey, go up 2, and the negative is saying, hey, go left 3. So if I did that pattern starting from this y-intercept, instead going up 2 and left 3, notice I still have this pattern of the line happening. And the same on the other, the first example as well. If instead of having both positives, I could have said, hey, both of these are negative instead, because two negatives still make a positive. So these two negatives would have said, hey, go down 2 to begin with, and then the negative 1 tells me go left 1. So if I went down 2 and left 1, notice that my point's still on the line. So me changing my sign is just allowing me to go on the other side of my y equals. So my y-axis. So again, now that I have all of these, I can just draw my line. And we're done. So that is graphing a line. So here are 2 U tries for you to try. So pause the video and then come back and check. So on the first one, that is what your line should have looked like. And on the second one, that is what your line should have looked like. Please note that your lines should have arrows on both ends because they are going to continue in both directions forever and ever and ever. So just put little arrowheads at the end. Otherwise, that is graphing.